Hi friends, welcome back to my studio for what will hopefully be a short little organizational idea. Talking about these Crayola Supertips. So I bought this package of 100, which is amazing. There are so many colors and they're so much fun to play with. However, I didn't find really any great ideas on how to organize them in a way that you knew what color to pick. And so I'm going to share what I came up with you. I will admit from the outset, this is a little compulsive, but I find that it works really well for me. And if you also like to know exactly what color you're picking, then follow along. So this comes in a set of 100, and it's got these different rows. Each, I think they're like 4 sets of these little cardboard containers inside that holds them into rows. What I did to organize them is they don't have color names on them at all. So what I did is, you can see here, this is my swatch sheet. And so what I did is I worked, and I can't explain why I worked from right to left because I don't do anything else right to left. So feel free to do it from left to right if that makes sense to you. But I swatched each row with the color, and then, as I said, they don't have color names on them, and I'm going to be shocked if you can pick this up. There's the imprint of like a 3-letter thing and 2 numbers. This one says 18. Those aren't the color numbers. You see like the same number come up over and over again, but it's good enough to kind of make sure you have the right pen marker. So what I did is I swatched each row and wrote the number that was on the pen barrel. So I don't know if you can see it, 31, 17, 13, 21, see 17 again. But what I do is I swatched them all in the order they came in. On the left, I wrote the number of the row number. So row 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And so I have the swatch, the barrel number, and the row number. And that is good enough for me to know that I'm getting the right color when I want it. So say I want this particular teal. What I will do is say, okay, that's in row 5, and it's 1, 2, 3 in. Now again, I can't justify to you why I worked from right to left, but as long as I remember that, that's fine. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, and 3 in. 1, 2, 3. Then I pull out this pen. I'm like, okay, the color I want says 24 on it. And I confirm that this also says 24. They don't always look that different from their neighbors. Like these two look kind of exactly the same from whatever. So I just like to, as I said, they're not a color number, but they're like a final confirmation that you have the right pen. The other thing I do is and here's where things get compulsive. When I take a pen out, a marker out, what I do is I take a pencil and I just make a dot next to the one I pulled out. And often I have these out for a week for whatever project I'm doing, planning your spread or whatever. And so then I can say, okay, I want to put this pen back. And a week from now, I'm not going to remember where its placement was. Like, I'm just not going to. But I can look at this mark here and say, okay, it's in the 5th row and the 3rd one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put it back. So the barrel number helps confirm because it's easy to still kind of mess it up. Make sure I've got the right one when I pull it out. But you can see, and then once I put it back, I erase the mark. So for example, these are the ones I've had out for this month, for this week. And so I can put them back. This one, I'm not sure if it shows up on camera, says that it's the first one in row 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sometimes you don't need to count because it's obvious that it's the only row of yellow, but sometimes you still need to. I'm going to erase that mark. Then this one is in row 8, which is the back row, and the third one in. So I can put that back and erase it. This last one, this one here. Okay, I don't always count from the beginning of the row. Sometimes I count from the end of the row. So this one is in row 4, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 in from the end of the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this will be the 5th. So now all of my markers are back where they originally came. And honestly, it doesn't matter if it's the original one. You could organize these however you like. And then as long as you have your swatch card that tells you how to put them back, then you can do that. But I find this incredibly helpful with 100 colors of markers. And some of them, the differences are very fine. I really like having the swatch card so that I can immediately look, figure out what color I want, and pick exactly it. I do it through, the counting and whatever, and then I confirm with the number that's on the barrel. And surprisingly, despite that there aren't that many different barrel numbers, there are very few where you've got 2 numbers next to each other. However, here in the yellows, we do have 3 22s in a row. So if I were picking one of those, I'd probably confirm I had the color I want on a scrap piece of paper before I actually used it in whatever project I wanted to, because it would be easy to mess these 3 up here. So although they do look, their caps do a reasonable job of differentiating them. So anyways, I hope you find that helpful. I am a huge fan of swatches. This is the beginning of my lettering notebook. These are my super tips. These are my Monami 3000 lettering pens. These actually have names, which is nice, so I just lettered the names so that I have the right color. And then these are my other lettering pens. So, big fan of the swatches, particularly for the Crayola Supertips. I hope you find that helpful, and good luck finding exactly the marker you want at every time.